Eli opened his eyes slowly. The room was dark, cold, and silent. Metal walls surrounded him, smooth and glowing faint blue. He tried to move, but chains were wrapped around his wrists and ankles. His head hurt. His memories were blurry. Where was he? He remembered a battle, guns, explosions, then dash nothing. Now he was here. Suddenly, a soft voice broke the silence. "Oh, look. The little human wakes." Eli turned his head. In the far corner of the cage, a tall alien woman stood with her arms crossed. Her skin was silver with a light blue shine. Her eyes were violet. Her hair floated like smoke. She was beautiful, but her face wore a smug smile. "I thought you died already," she said, stepping closer. "Humans are always so weak." Eli didn't reply. He watched her carefully. She walked slowly, like a queen. She stood over him and poked his forehead with one long finger. Not talking, she smirked, scared, or just stupid. Eli stared into her eyes but stayed silent. "You even know where you are, human?" she asked. He didn't answer. She laughed, a soft but arrogant sound. "This is a holding cell, a cage for prisoners like you." "And me, yes, but don't think we are the same. I'm not your equal." I stayed calm. He looked around. There was one bed, no windows, and a small light panel on the ceiling. Only one door. It was sealed shut. She sat on the bed now, still watching him. "My name is Velra," she said proudly, "daughter of High Commander Rotten of the 5th Star Fleet. I am no criminal. I am royalty." Still, Eli didn't speak. This made her more annoyed and more curious. "Are you mute?" she teased. "Or maybe you just don't know how to talk in front of a superior." She stood up again and walked to him. This time, she bent down face, very close to his. Her breath was warm against his cheek. "Maybe I should poke you again," she said, grinning, and she did. First on the shoulder, then she poked his chest, then his face. Poke, poke, poke. Eli's body tensed. She was laughing now, enjoying this too much. "You humans are so slow, so soft, like toys." Then she made a mistake. She leaned closer and poked his lips. Eli's eyes narrowed. Suddenly he moved. Fast. Snap. He bit her finger. Velra screamed and jumped back, holding her hand. "You bit me?" she shouted, eyes wide in disbelief. Eli looked calm. "I warned you with my silence," he said quietly. Blood shimmered on her finger. She stared at it like she couldn't believe it was real. "You savage," she hissed. "You poked the wrong human," he replied. Her anger turned into something else, confusion and curiosity. "No one has ever touched me like that," she said. Eli leaned back against the wall, watching her carefully. Velra backed up, holding her finger. She paced the cage like a trapped animal. "I should kill you for that," she whispered. "You're chained too," Eli said, raising an eyebrow. She stared at him. "You think biting me shows dominance? You think that means you're stronger?" Eli didn't answer. But something in Velra's face changed. Her pride was still there, but now her eyes looked at him differently. Less like a toy, more like a threat. Or something else. "I will remember this," she said, voice low. "You just broke something sacred." Eli didn't understand what she meant, but he knew the game changed. This was no longer just a prison. This was a battle of wills, and he had just made the first move. Asterisk. The silence inside the cage felt different now. Velra sat in the corner, holding her bitten finger close to her chest. The glowing blue blood had stopped, but her eyes were still wide. She looked more confused than angry. Eli sat across from her, chained but calm. His face was unreadable. She had poked him to prove she was better. He had bitten her to prove he was not weak, and now something strange had started. "I should hate you," she whispered, mostly to herself. Eli didn't respond. "You're a human, a lower species. Biting is animal behavior," she continued. He shrugged. "So don't poke animals." Velra looked up sharply, her violet eyes narrowing. "You think you won something?" Eli leaned back. No, but I made you stop. The first time, she had no clever reply. She stood slowly and walked to the corner of the cage, away from him. Her movements were less proud now, more unsure. She glanced at her finger again. A faint mark had formed on her skin. Not just a wound, but a light. A small, glowing ring now circled where Eli had bitten her. She gasped. No, that's not possible, Eli noticed. What is that? She looked away. Nothing, just ... body reaction. It will fade. But it didn't. The light grew brighter. Eli sat forward. That's not normal. Avail looked nervous for the first time. In my species, a bite during conflict means a challenge, if accepted. It forms a dominance link. A what? It's ancient, almost forgotten. From our wild past, she explained. If the link completes, one of us must submit. Eli raised an eyebrow. So, I bit a royal alien princess, and now we're bonded? Linked. Her voice was shaky now. I didn't accept the challenge. Not fully. Not yet. Eli looked at the glowing mark. How long before the link becomes permanent? Velra hesitated. The mark stays until dawn, cycle, ... It completes. Gave a small smirk, and we've got time. She didn't smile back. Instead, she sat again and stared at the floor. Hours passed. The light in the room dimmed, then returned. Maybe it was night now, or maybe the ship had no real time. The guards never came. No food, no water, only silence. And tension. Velra broke the silence. You're not like the other humans I've seen. I could say the same about you, Eli replied. She tilted her head. Why didn't you scream when I poked you? Most humans panic when touched by aliens. Was a soldier. I've been tortured before, Eli said simply. Like you poking me? That was just ... annoying. She studied him again. You were in the war? Yes. On Earth's eastern front. Against the Drex. She nodded slowly. My people sent weapons to both sides. We watched, judged like gods, Eli asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she stood again and walked toward him. Let me see your arm, she said. Why? The mark is growing. It might be spreading to you too. Eli extended his arm. She touched it gently this time, and there it was. A faint circle of light, right on his wrist. Her face changed. Fear. Mixed with fascination. This shouldn't be happening. She whispered. But it is, Eli said. They both looked at the marks. Two enemies. Two prisoners. One silent connection forming between them. Velra took a deep breath. You don't know what this means. Then tell me. She stepped back. If the link completes, I will feel your emotions. I will sense your pain. Worse, I will have to follow your commands. That's how the dominance bond works in my kind. Eli's eyes widened. So you're saying, if this continues, I could control you? Yes, she said bitterly. Eli was silent for a moment. Then maybe you should have stopped poking me, he said quietly. Velra gave a sharp laugh, but there was no joy in it. I don't know if I want to kill you or kneel before you. She said. Eli leaned his head back against the wall. Makes two of us. Suddenly, a loud beep echoed in the room. The door to the cage blinked red then green. Someone was coming. Velra and Eli both stood quickly. The marks on their bodies glowed brighter. Velra looked at him. If they see this link, they'll kill us both, and we better act like we're still enemies, Eli said. They both nodded, but deep inside. Something had already changed. The bite had started it, and now there was no turning back. The door slid open with a low hiss. Two tall alien guards stepped inside. Their armor was black and shiny, with strange glowing lines running down their arms. They held electric staffs, dangerous weapons. Velra changed instantly. Her posture became tall and royal. Her face turned cold and serious. She wiped the worry off her face like it was never there. Eli stayed quiet, watching. One guard stepped forward and looked straight at Velra. Then he lowered his head slightly. Eli saw it. Respect. The guard spoke in a robotic voice. Princess Velra, we were told you were held with a human. Is he bothering you? Velra turned her eyes toward Eli, who was still sitting on the floor. Her face didn't show any emotion. He is harmless, she said. Dull, weak, boring. Lee raised an eyebrow but said nothing. The second guard stared at him. Should we remove him? Velra shook her head. No, leave him. He amuses me. The guards looked surprised but nodded. One of them threw 2 food packs on the floor, gray cubes that smelled like old metal. They left as quickly as they came. The door hissed shut behind them. Eli waited a moment, then asked, Princess? Velra didn't look at him. Don't say it. He lied to them. I protected you, she said sharply. They would have killed you if they saw the mark. Eli looked at the glow still faint on his wrist. So, you really are a royal? She finally turned toward him. Her eyes were serious now. No more. Teasing, yes, I am the blood daughter of High Commander Ratan. That means I am military royalty. I was captured by traitors inside my own fleet and locked here. You were probably just ... unlucky. Eli laughed lightly. I was a soldier, not some lost tourist. Maybe they captured me for a reason. She gave him a sharp look. What reason? I think I was bait. Her eyes narrowed. Explain. I led a recon team into one of your fallen outposts. We found something your people didn't want us to see. What did you find? A lab? With human bodies in tubes? Some were still alive? Your people were ... experimenting. Velra's face went pale. No, she said. That's impossible. Our empire banned human testing years ago. Eli nodded. Maybe the empire did, but someone didn't follow the rules. She turned away and clenched her fists. I didn't know. We're part of it, Eli said quietly. She snapped back. I said I didn't know. The light on her bitten finger pulsed brighter. Eli stood. Then help me. She blinked. Help you? I'm your enemy. You're a prisoner now, same as me. But if you really didn't know what they were doing, you should want the truth. She looked down. Silence filled the cage again. Then finally she said, I will help you. But not because I like you. Because I need to know what else they've hidden. From me, Eli nodded. Good enough. Later, as they shared the tasteless food cubes, the light from their marks grew stronger again. Velra stared at her, glowing. Finger we have maybe one day before the dominance bond locks? Eli asked. Is there a way to break it? Not once it's complete, she replied, but there is one chance. How? A third party can interfere. Someone stronger. Or with higher command, you mean? Your father? She nodded slowly. Yes, but reaching him won't be easy. He probably thinks I'm dead. Eli's eyes narrowed. Then we make a plan. Vaylor gave a slow smile. You mean you trust me now? No, Eli said. But I trust your fear. Want to be bonded to a human any more than I want to own a princess? She chuckled. We agree on something at least. Just then, a hidden panel on the wall lit up. A voice echoed through the room. Subject 42 and Subject 17. Prepare for transfer. Velra looked up sharply. That's not a guard voice, she whispered. That's the scientist. Eli looked serious. They're moving us, not to freedom, she said. To the lab. She stepped closer to Eli, and for the first time, she reached out her hand willingly. If they separate us, the bond will break violently. We could die. Eli looked at her hand, then took it. Then we don't let them separate us. Asterisk. The floor moved beneath them. Eli grabbed the wall as the room shook, then began to slide sideways. The entire cage was on a track, moving through the giant alien ship-like cargo. A dim red light bathed the walls. Somewhere far away, machines hummed and clicked. Velra stood next to him, tense, her fingers glowing softly from the unfinished bond. We're not going to a lab, she said quietly. Where then? To the test chamber, she whispered. It's worse. Eli didn't like the sound of that. The cage stopped with a sudden jolt. The wall in front of them split open with a sharp hiss, revealing a wide circular chamber. The ceiling sparkled with lights, and in the center of the room were 2 chairs with metal restraints, waiting. Came the cold voice of a scientist. From a speaker above, Eli didn't move. Velra stepped forward, pretending to obey, but then turned to him quickly. "We must sit. If we fight now, they'll paralyze us." Eli clenched his jaw but followed her lead. They sat. The chairs locked. The the room dimmed. A blue mist filled the air. The scientist spoke again. Subject 17 human. Subject 42 Valra of Rotten. Beginning compatibility trial. Valra growled. "They're not supposed to do this to me. I'm royal." Eli muttered. "Royal or not, we're both lab rats now." Suddenly beams of light scanned their bodies. The bond marks began to glow brighter. Eli winced. "Feels like heat in my blood." Valra nodded. "It's the link trying to finish." They both struggled, but the chairs held them tightly. Then the voice changed. It wasn't the scientist anymore. It was someone... deeper. Someone familiar. "Ah." "The bite worked faster than expected," said the new voice. Velra froze. "No, it can't be." "Who is it?" Eli asked. "My uncle," she whispered. "Admiral Terex." The voice chuckled. "Should have died in the explosion, niece. But instead you bonded with a human. Disgusting." "Why are you doing this?" she shouted. "For power," Terex replied coldly. "Your father is old. If you are shamed with a human link, your name becomes worthless, and I take the fleet." Eli narrowed his eyes. This was all a setup. "Yes," Terex said. "The human was bait. We planted the lab on Earth. We let him find it. We knew he'd be captured. We knew you'd be locked with him. We watched everything." Velra screamed, fighting the restraints. "I will kill you." But her words meant nothing. Terex's voice faded. The machines around them grew louder. The bond marks pulsed like hearts glowing white now. Eli felt dizzy. Velra's emotions poured into him. Anger, fear, shame, regret. He gasped. "What's happening?" shouted. Velra cried out. "The bondit's finishing. I can feel your thoughts, your pain, your memories." He saw flashes in his mind, alien. Worlds, battles, childhood, cold training camps, and a little girl standing before a throne. "Stop it!" He yelled, but the machine didn't stop, and then bang! An explosion rocked the chamber. Screams, alarms, smoke. The restraints snapped open. "Run!" Velra shouted. Eli stood, shaky but free. He pulled Velra up, and together they ran from the smoke-filled test room. They found a dark hallway lit only by flickering red lights. Valra leaned against a wall, breathing hard. "The bond. It's done," she whispered. Eli looked at his wrist. The mark was solid, now no longer glowing. It had burned into his skin like a brand. Velra's mark was the same. He looked into her eyes. "You feel it too, don't you?" he asked. She nodded. "I can feel your heartbeat." Eli stepped back. "So now I control you?" Velra smiled bitterly. "Not full control. But if you give a strong enough command, I will obey. Even if I hate it. I don't want a slave," Eli said firmly. "Then don't act like a master," she replied. A voice echoed again in the halls. "All units kill the human. Bring the princess alive." Valra stood up. "Don't have time. My uncle will hunt us across the ship." Eli looked down both ends of the hallway. "So what's the plan?" She grabbed his hand. "We escape. Together." "You sure you want to trust me?" She squeezed his fingers. "The bond won't let me lie. I trust you, even if I don't like it." Eli gave a half smile. "That makes 2 of us." Together, they ran to enemies, now tied by fate, escaping a ship full of enemies, with a war just beginning inside them both. Eli heard it first, a deep rumble, like thunder rolling through metal. Then the ship shook. A loud voice echoed through the hallway. "Unregistered ship has breached the outer hull. Intruders aboard, level 5 lockdown activated." Valra's eyes went wide. That's not my uncle's voice. Someone else is here. Eli's heart jumped. It might be my people. A rescue. They ran through the flickering corridor, turning sharp corners, ducking behind pipes as alien guards rushed past them. Valra whispered, "This area is close to the docking bay. If humans really are here, they'll land there." Eli nodded. "Let's go." As they reached the docking bay door, they stopped. Through a small viewing window, they saw a squad of armed soldiers in dark armor, but they weren't human. Their armor was too smooth. Their movements too fast. Their skin ... scaled. Valra gasped. "Rebel Dravaki, my uncle's enemies." Eli frowned. "Then it's not a rescue. It's a raid. They're not here to save you. They're here to capture me." Eli looked at her. "You're the real prize." She nodded slowly. "A royal bond to a human is a scandal. But a royal captive? That's power." Eli's hand tightened into a fist. He stepped back from the window. "We can't go that way." Vel returned to him. "Then where?" Suddenly, the door behind them blasted open. A rebel stepped through tall, scaled and fast. Eli jumped forward, tackled him, and slammed the rebel into the wall. The alien snarled and struck Eli's shoulder. But Eli grabbed the staff and bit his neck. The rebel screamed. Velra stared in shock. "You bit him again? It worked before?" Eli grunted. The rebel fell unconscious. Eli took the weapon and looked at Velra. "Let's move." They darted through a service tunnel, smaller and darker. Pipes leaked steam. It smelled of burnt oil. Valra limped.
He cut it.
Eli stopped and checked. She was bleeding. It's not much, but enough to slow her. He tore his shirt and wrapped her thigh tight. She winced. "You're gentle. You expected what? A leash and chain?" She didn't answer. They kept moving. Finally, they reached an observation deck. Through the window, Eli saw it. A human ship. Small, black, marked with Earth's symbol. Eli's eyes lit up. "That's my ship." A human voice came through a nearby panel. "This is Commander Rowe of the USS Ember. Eli Grayson, respond if alive." Eli ran to the panel and hit the button. "I'm here. I'm with someone. She's not a threat." Static buzzed. Then Rowe's voice returned. "We see you. Hold your position. We're cutting through the outer hull. 60 seconds. Eli turned to Valra. "We're getting out." Valra looked at the window. "And then what? You bring me to Earth? I'll be executed." "No, I'll protect you." She looked confused. "Why?" "Because you protected me." "In the cage. The chamber. I don't forget that." Valra smiled just a little. Boom. The wall exploded inward. A small team of human Marines rushed through. One of them raised a gun. "What is that next to him?" Valera froze. Eli jumped in front of her. "She's with me." Commander Rowe stepped in, helmet off. "Eli, you're alive. But what is this alien doing with you?" "She's bonded to me," Eli said. "It wasn't by choice, but she's helped me survive." Rowe frowned. "You bit her?" "Yeah, long story." Velra stepped forward. "I am Velra, daughter of High Commander Raton. Request protection." "Under Human War Code 7-17? Rose stared. "She knows our codes." "She studied us," Eli said. "And now she's one of us." Rowe didn't look happy, but nodded. "Fine, get aboard." "But if she turns on us, she won't," Eli said firmly, as they boarded the ship. Alarms echoed again. Velra looked back at the alien ship, her home, now lost. "Do you regret this?" Eli asked. She didn't answer right away, then softly. "Only that I didn't bite you first." Eli laughed. "Too late now." The door shut behind them, and the ship lifted off, leaving the broken alien cruiser behind, but unknown to both. A dark figure watched from the shadows. Sermo X. He touched the screen showing Eli and Velra together. They escaped. But the bond is my key. Let them run. The war is only beginning. It's to risk. The Earth ship, USS Ember, sped through space like a bullet in the dark. Eli stood near the window, watching stars rush by, but his mind was not calm. He could feel something. Strange. A heartbeat that wasn't his. Behind him. Valra leaned quietly against the wall, her silver skin pale from blood loss and exhaustion. Her body was still healing, but her eyes stayed sharp. "You feel it too, don't you?" she asked. Softly, Eli nodded without turning. "Yeah. Every time I get angry, I feel your heart race." Valra stepped beside him. It's the bond. We're linked new in body, mind, and emotion. Eli sighed. "I didn't ask for this, either." "Did I?" she said. They were quiet for a moment. Then she said something unexpected. "I used to think humans were animals, but I was wrong." Eli looked at her. "And I used to think all aliens were monsters. I guess we were both wrong." A small smile touched her lips. Later in the Ember's medical room, Valra lay on a biobed, healing slowly. Human nurses stayed away from her, afraid of her alien blood and glowing skin. Commander Rowe entered and handed Eli a report. "We scanned her DNA," Rowe said. "She's not just any alien, Eli. She's a genetic hybrid. Her people made her using at least, for different alien species, she's a weapon." Eli frowned. "She's not a weapon. She's a person." Rowe lowered his voice. "Then why do her cells change shape when she's stressed? Why does her blood react to yours? What if the bond is part of a trap?" Eli looked at Valra through the glass. "She's not lying. I felt her thoughts. Her fear is real." Rowe sighed. "You're risking a lot for her." "I know," Eli said. That night cycle, as the ship entered a quiet system near a collapsed star, Valra woke up screaming. Eli ran into her room. Her hands glowed, her body shaking. He grabbed her shoulders. "What's happening?" she gasped. "My Uncle Terex, he's tracking us through the bond." "What?" "He's using my half of the link to locate me, I forgot. In royal bloodlines, the bond is monitored. He must have hijacked it." Suddenly, alarms screamed through the ship. Hostile vessel approaching. Unknown technology. Shields. Up. Eli and Valra rushed to the command deck. A dark alien warship appeared on the screen's leak. Black and covered in red glowing lines. "That's not Dravaki," Valra whispered. "That's a ghost ship, a relic. My people haven't seen one in centuries." Rowe stared. "How's it flying?" Valra's eyes widened. "Terex must have activated old war tech. We're not ready for this." Eli turned to her. "Can you stop it?" She nodded slowly. "But not from here. We need to go back into the Ember's core. I have to use my blood and the bond to block." "The signal," Rowe shouted. "That's suicide." Eli grabbed Valra's hand. "And I'm going with her." Inside the Ember's lower levels, steam hissed and red lights flashed. They reached the neural sync chamber, a room built to handle deep connections between machines and minds. Valra stepped into the circle, her body shaking. "I need to link into the core. It will hurt." Eli stepped forward too. "And I'll share the pain." She looked at him. "You'd do that?" He nodded. "We're bonded now, remember?" Valra smiled faintly. "Then hold tight, human." They placed there, hands on the glowing control node. Sparks flew. Electric pain shot through both of them. Eli gritted his teeth. Valra screamed, but didn't let go. Data flowed through her body codes, maps, alien signals. She pushed hard, and then the ghost ship stopped, back on the command deck. The screen showed the enemy vessel powering down. Rowe shouted, "They've lost tracking!" "Whatever you two did worked." Valra collapsed into Eli's arms. Her skin no longer glowed. Her body was cold. Eli held her. "Stay with me." Her lips moved. "I felt you, inside the code, like you were part of me." He said, "You're not alone anymore." Later, in a quiet room, Vel rested on a bed. Eli sat beside her. She whispered, "When I first met you, I wanted to break you, and I wanted to shut you up." She laughed weakly. "But now," she said, "I don't know what we are. Not enemies, not friends. Something else." Eli nodded. "Maybe that's okay." Then he reached out and touched her mark. It no longer glowed. It pulsed like a heartbeat far away. In the shadows of space, Admiral Terex stood before a dark, Council, they escaped, one voice said. Terex bowed his head. Yes, but the bond is complete, another voice replied. Good, then they will come to us. Willingly. Terex grinned. Yes, and when they do, we take everything. The silence after the battle was not peaceful. It was heavy like space. Itself was holding its breath. Eli sat alone in the ship's dark garden module. Trees hummed softly, and fake stars glowed on the ceiling. But he wasn't looking at the beauty. He was looking at his hands still marked. With the burn of the bond, Valra hadn't woken up in 2 days. Her body lived. But her mind was somewhere else. Elsewhere on the ship, Commander Rowe watched the scan feed of Valra's brainwaves. They spiked like lightning storms. Alien symbols kept flashing across the monitor. She's not unconscious, he muttered. She's connected. Still bonded. But to what? Suddenly, alarms flashed again. A rift is forming. Something is coming through. Eli rushed to the control room. A tear opened in space, black and sharp like a wound. From it, a massive ship crawled into view. It wasn't like the first. It was alive. The alien ship pulsed with muscle and metal. Its surface moved, as if it breathed. Giant red eyes opened across its hull. Rowe stared. What is that? Velra's voice crackled through the speakers, even though she was still in bed. That's the blood arc. Everyone froze. She's speaking through the ship, someone whispered. Eli leaned forward. Velra, can you hear me? Her voice came again, slow and deeper. This is my final form. I am both now, my mind and the Ark. They want me to destroy you. Rowe stepped back. She's merged with the enemy ship. She's fighting it. Inside the Ark, Valra floated in a glowing red sea. Wires clung to her body. Voices screamed in her head. Kill them all. He made you weak. You were born to conquer. But in the chaos, she heard one voice, Eli. You're not a weapon. You're a person. Valra clenched her teeth. No more. Her body flared with light. Back on the Ember, the enemy ship suddenly paused. Its eyes dimmed. Then it began to change. Sharp weapons retracted. The red glow turned blue. The living metal softened. The blood arc was transforming. Rowe looked at Eli. What's she doing? She's rewriting the ship, Eli said. She's choosing us. In the sky above them, the once deadly ship now looked. Calm, gentle, like a whale floating in a peaceful ocean. Then Valra's voice echoed again. I've taken control. The bond helped me reach the core. I'm coming back now. A beam of blue light shot from the Ark to the Ember. A moment later, Valra stepped out. She looked different, stronger, taller. Her eyes glowed softly, not with rage, but with peace. Everyone backed away, unsure. Eli stepped forward. You came back, Valra smiled. I never left. They stood inches apart. I was created for war, she said. But because of you, I found something else. Eli raised an eyebrow. What's that? She touched her chest. Control. Choice. And she stepped closer. Someone to bite back. He laughed. I knew that first bite would mean trouble. Then, without warning, she kissed him quick and fierce, and then pulled away, teasing. You're still weaker than me. Eli smirked. But you're mine. Later, aboard the Ember, Rowe and the crew watched as Valra's new Ark floated alongside them, no longer a threat. Peace talks began with alien leaders who once feared her. Now she spoke for Earth. She had become a bridge knot, a weapon. Log entry by Eli Trent. I was chained to a wall when I met her. She was loud, proud, and dangerous. She poked me to test me, so I bit her to show her I wasn't prey. She thought dominance meant control, but now she understands. True strength is when you choose not to destroy what you can. Was made to kill, but now she chooses to protect. This is how wars end, not with blood, but with a bond.